has passed. Good afternoon. Otherwise, the first item is item number 4. This is to amend the grants fund budget for this fiscal year by appropriating $1,724,036.10 to transportation, ALDOT utility and construction agreement this is for a project program for Woodlawn Neighborhood Streetscape.
You can also bring up item 5, they're related.
Okay, all right, so this is to amend the Rebuild Alabama Gas Tax Fund budget by transferring $431,009.03 street resurfacing undesignated and appropriate that same amount to non-departmental for this fiscal year by appropriating that same amount transferred to Fund 036 grant match, and then amend that fund budget for this fiscal year by appropriating the same amount to transportation utility ALDOT construction agreement.
Move the items.
Second.
Good afternoon to the committee. My name is Colin Alexander, and I serve as Program Manager with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. BDOT inherited a number of ALDOT grants that were awarded to the city around between 2014, 15, 16, and we've been steadily working through those projects. They've been delayed in various stages, and we've been working to get those delivered. This is one of those grants, the Woodlawn Streetscape Phase 2. It's a CMAQ grant. And we're now to the point where we're ready to start stepping up this project. So what we're doing is setting up the ordinance to begin work on this project. The project will include streetscape improvements, including street paving, sidewalks, etc., on 56th Street from First Avenue North towards the railroad tracks, 57th Street from First Avenue North to the south end of the roadway, 59th Street from First Avenue North to the railroad tracks, 61st Street from First Avenue North to Georgia Road, and then we will also be resurfacing First Avenue South between 55th Street and 59th Street and codifying the bike infrastructure that we have tested out there for the last year or so. So this will make it a more permanent improvement.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. I just had one question. This agreement or this grant was for congestion mitigation as well as improvements for air quality. So with the streets in the area that you're talking, is this more, it sounds like you're doing paving and you're doing some restriping, is that the case?
That's
How
correct.
does that help with the air quality?
So streetscapes are considered an eligible item under this program. It's a federal program that's titled that way. So this was and so things like improving sidewalk conditions, making it easier for people to walk through their community, those are all part of a streetscape improvement.
Okay. And the selection of these areas, can you tell me just a little bit about what went into the rubric that?
Sure. So a lot of this predates the way our department is organized now. So when the grant was applied for about 10 years ago, we did work in partnership with Woodlawn United and to kind of figure out, okay, what are the best uses of this funds? What are the streets where we really want to see these streetscape improvements, and made sure that if it didn't line up in the previous scope, that we adjusted that to align with the community's views.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Councilor Abbott?
Yeah, thank you for the information. I hadn't remembered this because it was so long ago. So you said they're going to be doing paving, sidewalks, striping?
Yeah, and some complete street striping. There'll be some landscaping. Some of the details of that are still going to be worked through the design. So we have about a year of design to work through some of that with the consultant that will finalize it. But in general, those are the kinds of improvements.
Okay, will there be any lighting?
That's something we have to work out through design and see budget, whether that would allow for that.
Yeah, after all this time has passed and inflation has come. I don't know. Okay, well, those were my questions. Thank you.
Why did it take so long? Like, why are we just now getting to this point?
I think that's a complicated question with a lot of factors. I think part of it is just working through the number of grants that we were awarded at that time and the capacity to step those up. I think that would involve a more detailed briefing than what we can do here today.
Okay. When was phase one completed?
That, I would have to look back. I believe it was completed around 2017, 18. I'd have to go back and get that exact date for you.
Okay. And how long will this take to complete?
So we're hoping about a year to construct and then a year to build.
Okay, good for them. Okay. Councilors, do you have any additional questions? Okay, well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. 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 Those items pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is, an agreement with Disability Rights and Resources Incorporated, an amount not to exceed $2,400,000 for a term ending on June 30th, 2025, under which Disability Rights and Resources will provide rehabilitation services such as roofing, repair of rotting wood, paint, and handicap accessible ramps for up to 80 homeowners throughout the city to correct the term of the resolution to a term to end on or before December 31st, 2025, to allow the provision of services to exceed the initial contract period.
Can we do 7 as well?
Oh, yes, and then 7 is, this is for an agreement with Woodlawn United, an amount not to exceed $1,803,402 for a term ending on June 30th, 2025, under which Woodlawn United will do the same for 60 homeowners in Woodlawn, Eastlake, and Kingston neighborhoods.
Move the items.
Second.
Good afternoon, Corey
Good afternoon.
Stallworth. I serve as Senior Deputy Director of Community Development, and so thank you for putting these two items together. We are seeking approval to amend both of these agreements to support the work that's needed for our critical repair program. And so if you remember, we started on this journey of using administrators for our critical repair program back in 2023. And so it was to be a 2-year program where we would work through 250 homes and making repairs available to those homeowners. And so we are right at the edge of completing, but we need just a little bit more time in these agreements to finish those homes. And so to date, we have finished right above 142 homes. So we have right at about 100 to complete. And so between those 100 that are left, Disability Rights and Resources, as well as Woodlawn United, would finish those 100. And just to note, these repairs are outside of Disability Rights and Resources regular modification programs for folks that need accessibility repairs. These are strictly for critical repairs like HVAC, roofing, any plumbing, things of that nature.
Okay, Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Yeah, the reason that they didn't finish in time is because of weather or?
Yeah, well, some of the repairs, are very critical, so some of them took longer than others when you get into sewer issues where we have to dig up someone's front yard and replace plumbing and things like that. So it's kind of hard to time whether we would have been able to get through all of those repairs because it's dependent on what they are. Some of the residents have to be temporarily moved in for, reasons where we have to really get in and do deep repair. So that's really the reason. It just depends on the different repairs that were completed.
So it was the unknown.
Yeah, and unforeseen.
Yeah, okay. Well, with plumbing, I certainly understand that.
Yeah.
That was my only question. I just wanted to know what the holdup was.
Gotcha. Madam Pro Tem?
I just wanted to get some clarity on, you said there were 250 homes,
Yes.
and so 142 have been done?
Yes.
Or is these two items going to take care of an additional 250 homes, or this is to complete the original list?
This is to complete the original list. So they were the original organizations that started, but like I said, they just need a little bit more time, a couple of more months. So just to give a little bit more cushion, because there could be some unforeseen in that remaining 100 that we need to touch. So we want to give them a little bit more cushion of completing until the end of this year. But simultaneously, we would begin relaunching this program to start again in January.
Okay, because that was going to be my follow-up question. I know residents who are have this type of need for services, they're always waiting for the door to open so that they could go ahead and get their applications in. So this would complete the tranche that have already been approved, and people have gone through the process.
Yes.
And then once this is done, you'll have other funds that will start the new program.
And we're gonna move simultaneously, so we're
Okay.
not gonna wait to finish
Perfect.
this and then do applications. We wanna go ahead and do applications around this summer so that we can have people properly vetted and approved so that we can begin working on their homes, next year. So we will have a full rollout of marketing and we'll have informationals in various areas across town, north, south, east, and west, to make sure that people get the information they need on how to apply in advance before it's time to apply later this year.
And just one final question. This work, again, is very specific from the disability rights, the source that you're receiving or using the money from. So, plumbing, HVAC, you said?
Plumbing, HVAC, if there's any issues with flooring, we cover that. So critical repairs to those most critical components in a home. We do have a separate program with Disability Rights and Resources where we do the modifications for folks that may need cabinets lowered, those ADA compliance repairs.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Okay,
Thank you.
Counselor Abbott, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good.
I think I'm
Thank you.
good too. Okay,
All right?
all right, well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 6 and 7 have passed. Next is item number 9. This is a master services and purchasing agreement with Exxon, where the city will lease and use Exxon devices and services an amount not to exceed $1,993,082.25 for body cams, Exxon fleet, officer safety plans, et cetera. Okay, and the city, bringing the total amount of the lease with the Second Amendment to $19,550,639.80. The city will accept the services and use as needed for the police department to promote the health and welfare.
Move the item.
Second.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Rob Malden, I serve as the Deputy Chief of Birmingham Police Department. So with this amendment, it allows for us to make additional purchases for our Fleet 3 products. That's our license plate readers, cradle points, in-car cameras. With an additional personnel and staffing, of course, it's an additional need for equipment to go inside of our vehicles. We want to ensure that our vehicles are equipped with the necessary equipment to safeguard our community as well as our officers. We have currently 200 cars that were outfitted previously, and we have 75 that's on the ground currently being outfitted. So this would allow us to put the necessary equipment in the current cars of the 75.
Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Yes, I just wanted to ask again, you said LPRs, cameras, license plate readers, cameras, and what's the other, there was a third?
Cradle points. Cradle points.
Cradle points? You
Yes,
know what that is?
that's pretty much a Wi-Fi for the
Okay.
vehicles.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Counselor Abbott?
Okay, well, that was what I was wondering, what we were buying, because it mentions body cameras, Axon fleet, officer safety plans, and a bunch of stuff that's not any of the things you just listed you're buying.
Yes, ma'am. These are strictly for the vehicles.
Yeah.
This is not including our body cameras.
Okay, 4 cars. Okay,
This is
and,
for clarity, it's the same company that is doing our body cameras also. So that may be a little confusing just to see the Taser selling or Axon. It's the same company.
well, what confused me was that the finance department and the police department assert that the lease term for the body cameras matches the estimated useful life of the assets covered in the lease. And I thought, what does that have to do with anything? I mean, does it have anything to do with this item, or it was just like useful information that
It's
somebody.
mostly useful information just because as we extend the current lease to add on these products, it has to coincide with the actual First Amendment of the agreement was. So we're just extending the terms and increasing the dollar amount for the additional personnel.
Okay.
And if you recall, also, we did receive a small grant that pays for stuff like this also outside of the general fund that we have. So that's why it has that finance department part in it.
Okay, so the lease term and the money and the items are all gonna match up and it's going to be wonderful.
Yes, it'll be beautiful.
I gotcha. Okay, that's all my questions.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem?
No other questions, thank you.
Okay, and this is for, are these new cars that we have, or just existing cars we're putting them in?
Yes, these are new cars.
These are the 75 that the council approved in that last surplus for
Yeah.
UPD.
Okay, all right. Well, was there a motion and a second?
Yes.
Okay, there was a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item has passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 10. This is a software license purchase and management agreement, which will be utilized by the Office of the City Attorney. The total amount to be paid by the city shall not exceed $16,928.
Move the item.
Second.
Good afternoon. I serve as Annette Harris. I serve as Deputy Director of Enterprise Systems in IMS.
Okay. Is there any additional information we need to know?
So SICOM Data Systems, the City Attorney's Office uses their city law software to access their older casework. And this is just a renewal
It's a renewal.
for their.
It's just renewal? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if these are the current city's legal files or if we're gonna organize ourselves so we can find things from the past.
So city law, they don't enter new casework into anymore, but this is their historical casework. So if they had to go back and reference an older case, they would look in city law for that.
Really? Oh, that's great. Let's get it in a hurry. We have some files we need to find.
Okay.
Madam Pro Tem?
No questions.
Okay, I don't have any. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item has passed. Thank you. Next item is item number 11. This is a grant with the Jefferson County Community Service Fund in the amount of $10,000 to help with community enrichment activities at the Arlington Home and Gardens. No matching funds are due from the city.
Move the item.
Second.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Toby Richards, and I serve as Executive Director at Arlington Historic House and Gardens. The Jefferson County Community Service Grant Funds will be used to support high-level programs, initiatives, and events, along with community enrichment activities for Arlington Historic House and Gardens.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
I really don't. I do just want to say that I have attended some of the events, and I know that they do have a cultural aspect, and certain nonprofits come in and use the facility as well, right?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
All right, thank you. I don't have any questions about
Okay.
this fund.
Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, tell me again what you said the money was going to be used for. What kind of activities?
Well, the grant funds will help support Arlington, allow us an opportunity to share 4 of our goals through various activities. 1, community building. We want to foster connections to address, as Councilor Pro Tem Alexander mentioned about food insecurities in our district. Along with educational outreach, we are partnering with Washington, one of our schools, Birmingham City Schools, Washington K-8 to partner with their state course of study. The topic is nutrition, and our food service supervisor goes out to the school and lead nutritional demonstrations with their students and with their staff.
So, do y'all have any gardens at Arlington?
We have a resource garden and we have a kitchen garden. Those, vegetables and herbs are, we bring them here. I don't know if you guys have had any. And we also take them to Washington K-8, and with our community, they come, it's welcome, it's actually encouraged for the community to come because we know that we're in a food desert. We also provide recipes, for instance, if it's eggplant, the teachers some of the instructors at Washington and in the community, when they're here or at Arlington for events, they don't know how to use some of the vegetables in the garden. Again, I said eggplant. So eggplant parmigiana. So we have recipes to go along with most of the vegetables that are planted. We partner with horticulture, and it's curated for our community and for the chef to prepare these meals that are healthy for our community. And pretty much that's what the community in the neighborhood, our 5 neighboring communities, we've discussed.
Well, good, thank you for elaborating on that. I haven't been to Arlington in a little bit, but I know that when I looked at that kitchen, I thought, how did anybody cook in this kitchen? I mean, it's nice to see historically, but cooking over a fire in a fireplace with a big pot didn't appeal to me very much.
It makes the best cornbread, the fireplace does.
Oh, I'm sure.
You'll have to come for one of our demonstrations with Chef
I
Matt.
have to make it back out there. Maybe the council will have to have a meeting there. We used to have meetings there.
Pardon?
We used to have meetings at Arlington.
Yes.
But
And you can still come back. We welcome you. We would love for you to come back.
It's been a while. Okay, well, that answers my questions. Thank you.
We're grateful, and thank you so much for your continued support to each of you.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 And please note my abstention. Okay. Item number 11 has passed. Next item, we're going to call it 15 and 22. This is a project funding agreement between the city and Hardy Automotive, under which Hardy will expand its business by purchasing a company van and outfitting it for mobile detailing services with the creation of 2 new jobs, generate new sales tax revenue, new occupational tax revenue, business license revenue to the city for a term of 1 year in amount not to exceed $15,000. This is in the form of a RISE grant. And then 25, so sorry, 25. So this is between city and McClellan Enterprises will expand its business by renovating property located at 4610 Avenue V, create at least 3 new jobs. And this is for a term of 1 year and amount not to exceed $10,000.
Move the items.
Second.
Okay. Oh, we got everybody. We got the dream team, don't we?
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Cornell Westland. I proudly serve as the Director for the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. I'm joined this evening by Monique Shorts, our Senior Program Manager for the Office of Business Diversity and Opportunity, Ms. Alyssa Clark, who is representing Hardy Automotive, as well as Ms. Ashley McClellan, who's representing McClellan Enterprises. As you can see, we have 2 minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses that are operating right here in the city of Birmingham. And they're operating in the spirit of the RISE incentive, retention incentives for success and expansion. So the first project before you in Hardy Automotive, notably, we would say that this particular business has an existing brick and mortar. And so this is an existing standalone facility that is now positioned well to expand their services in the form of automotive detailing. So the recommended incentive is the amount of $15,000, and the use of proceeds, as mentioned, would go in the retrofitting of what we would characterize as equipment, although it is a van, the retrofitting of that instrument to be able to expand their services beyond their existing brick and mortar space. The second project before you is McClellan Enterprises. Again, this particular incentive is located in one of our geographic priority areas of the Inslee community. And so this is a franchisee of a Cricket Wireless The use of the proceeds would go to hire additional staffs, which will allow them to extend their hours to better serve that particular demographic, as well as completing some renovations that are currently underway. And so both are expected to generate between 50 and 60,000 in sales tax, which is well beyond the incentive request. Happy to entertain any questions. And again, I'm joined here by Ashley McClellan of McClellan Enterprises, as well as Ms. Alyssa Clark.
Okay, would you guys like to say anything?
Hi, okay, I'm Alyssa Clark, and I'm the owner of Hardy Automotive. I came here today because we're expanding our business. We've been able to get contracts with corporations, and a lot of what they're requiring is that we come on site to do, we do commercial detailing. So we do the industrial trucks, we do the power company, we do enterprise, they have a trucking division. So they want us to come on property and detail those vehicles, rehab them, whatever's necessary. So we just need to be able to get there with the equipment to keep those contracts, and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your time this afternoon. As mentioned by Mr. Wesley, we have been operating since December of '24 in the area. Things are going well. We want to expand in terms of giving options to the community by having more people on staff to be able to have later hours, and those current improvements that are underway are for security. As we all are aware, in the Inslee Five Points area, we are covered, but we do need some more coverage in order to ensure that our employees are safe and we can be there and available.
Okay, awesome. Madam President, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you for bringing these two businesses to us for consideration for the RISE grant. I do just have a couple of questions. One, I noticed that often there's a difference in the number of jobs. There's often a difference in the number of jobs that have to be created. And I just wanted to know, do you use some type of scale for that based on the salary or based on the return for occupational tax and those things?
Yes, so the minimum, as we recommended in the ordinance, is 2 jobs for the RISE grant. But we always, as in any development agreement, including RISE, mention the particular impact as it relates to the sales tax, just so that we can ensure that we are, the investment and the return on the investment is 4 or 5 that amount.
Okay.
That's just our goal.
Thank you, that's good. And my final question, and it's not a tricks question, it's just something someone asked me. I see that both of these say a livable wage. Can you give an idea of what you're calling a livable wage?
Well, we define a livable wage of at least $16 or higher. Now, that is well beyond what the federal government suggests, but that is what the city has promoted.
Okay, thank you. That's my only question,
Okay.
thank you.
Council Abbott?
Yeah, and my only question is, because I appreciate you ladies being here to tell about your businesses. The new employees, how long are they required to stick around? You know, like you hire them and they quit and then you have to go find some more. So like, is it just to have like either 2 or 3 people there for the next year, or what is the requirement?
Our hope is always 24 months or more, measuring the level of the investment, and that will be further illuminated in the development agreement.
I'm sometimes amazed at the people who will take a job and within a week or 2 they're gone.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe it's the exuberance of youth, I don't know.
Well, that's why the livable wage is such a strong point that we try to drive home. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. It's actually $21 an hour is what we're defining.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's even better.
That's even better.
Yes.
Same. Okay. Well, I don't have any questions. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those items are passed. Good luck,
Thank you.
ladies,
Thank
of
you.
course. Next item is item number 16. This is an amendment to the down payment assistance agreement between the city and Neighborhood Housing Services of Birmingham, extending the term through June 30th, 2026. Neighborhood Housing shall be awarded an additional amount of $100,000 for the continued administration of the citywide ready-to-own Birmingham program, and additional amount of $400,000 to be used as down payment assistance.
Move the item.
Second.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And so again, this is a request to extend the agreement between Neighborhood Housing Services of Birmingham, which is the administrator of our Birmingham Ready to Own Down Payment Assistance Program, which was launched over a year ago. And just to give some good news, we've had 500 applicants apply to this program over the past year. And out of that 500, we have closed 50. And so in that 50 that we have closed, the average age is around 42 to 39 years old. And so we are at this point now because under the current agreement, we have run out of funds. And so we want to make sure that we can keep this program available to the citizens. And so we are requesting to extend it another year and also add another $500,000 of home funds to keep this going. We had to unfortunately delay the program right now, and so we have folks that have offer letters and they have a house picked out, and so we want to be able to continue this to support folks in home ownership.
Okay. Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about this because you've got $100,000 for administration, and then you've got $400,000 to be used as down payment assistance. And then it says that the amount is $1.1 million. Does that include the former amount of money plus the new $500,000, and that's why it says $1,100,000? Haven't we
Yes.
already approved the other money?
Yes, so this is actually amending the current agreement. The current agreement was for $600,000 of home funds, and out of that $600,000, Neighborhood Housing Service received $100,000 for admin, and so they have exhausted all of that $600,000 right now, and so we want to amend the agreement to add another $500,000 to keep the services going, which will make a total agreement not to exceed the $1.1 million.
Okay, thank you, I understand now. It wasn't entirely clear, but thank you.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem?
Tomorrow, we'll have an update during our Administration and Government Affairs Committee meeting. So I was just curious, and perhaps we'll get this update. I thought we had one of our legislative agenda items where our city employees could benefit. Is this one of the type programs that the city employees may be able to now become a part of?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I saw Mr. Datcher earlier. I wish he was still here, but no, yes, it is on our legislative agenda to try and amend that current language to allow city employees to be beneficiaries of our grant programs, especially CDBG federal grants of that nature, where they were excluded from being able to participate. So yes, that bill is still pending, and I think he's one of the sponsors of the bill.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to get that update. Thank you.
Yeah.
Counselor Abbott, do you have any additional questions?
I'm good, thank you.
I think I'm good too. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that item has passed. Next item is item number 18. This is agreement between the city and CAP, which is City Center District Management Corporation, will provide certain services for the BID, Business Improvement District, to include marketing assistance to the homeless and data collection analysis for a term of 3 years for a fee of $9,000 for the first year and up to $25,000 for the second and third years.
Move approval.
Second.
Yes, so, committee, so this is our agreement, our annual agreement with, CAPS or, Birmingham to handle our CAP service in our bid districts. So right now, we have expanded most of our bid districts to include the South Side and the Switch District. So this funding is to support them going forward to kind of offset some of those costs that they're getting out of the bid, and this is the city's share.
All right, Counselors, do you have any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, Counselor Abbott?
Well, my question was, is it for all of the different areas covered by CAPS? And you answered that. So thank you. They've made an enormous difference in 5 Points South.
Yes.
I don't hang out at the switch, but I'm in 5 Points a lot.
I would be just to give Mr. David Fleming his flowers for what he did. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Even downtown with our law office, they come by once a week to ask us, do we need anything? And it really helps knowing that they communicate like that, so. Okay, well, that's been,
And their home is in Southside Baptist Church, which I do appreciate because I
That's
get to
good.
meet them and know them. So when I run into them on the street, there's hope.
yeah, awesome, okay. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That item has passed. Next item is item number 25. This is a sponsorship agreement with the Birmingham Host Committee 2025 World Police and Fire Games, under which the host committee shall organize and host the 2025 World Police and Fire Games in the city at various venues to include the Crossplex and Bill Harris Arena commencing June 25th through July 7th, 2025. Expected to have significant economic benefit to the city. The city will contribute up to $58,500 in financial incentives towards hosting the games in Birmingham.
Move the item.
Second.
Yeah, Chief?
Yes, so what's before the council is just a sponsorship agreement between the city and the World Police and Fire Foundation. The funding that's before the council and the sponsorship is to allow our athletes, when I say our athletes, I say those of the Birmingham Fire Rescue and Birmingham Police Department, to participate in those events for World Police and Fire for free, that the city would cover its costs. When I say cover its costs, it's their entry fee into the actual event or whatever event they will be participating in. So that's what's before the council. The dollar amount should include up to 150 athletes of personnel. So that is what's before the council.
That's good, okay. Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, that was gonna be my question with the amount. How many of the, entry fees?
So it's up to 150, and it depends on, each sports has a different fee. So it's really depending on what fee they sign up for.
Okay, and this particular amount only is talking about the entry fee?
Yes.
None of the other costs associated? Okay, thank you.
Okay, Counselor Abbott?
Well, and that was my question. Aren't we giving them $500,000 a year for a certain number of years to fund this?
Yeah, that was our actual fee that we pay the federation for us to be able to have the exclusive rights for Birmingham to have that. So this is separate from that. That fee has been $500,000 a year for a combined total of $2 million. That was the city's portion for that, for the event fee.
So which year of paying $500,000 are we
We're in
in?
our last one, that will be on July 1st.
Okay, so the 58.5 is to pay for our own athletes?
For our athletes, yes. And as of today, but outside of just Birmingham, I think the state alone has close to 800 athletes that are signed up.
That's good.
That's good.
Do you know the breakdown between police and fire?
Yes and no, but yes, I do. I'll share that with you. Not publicly, no.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't have any questions. But there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That item has passed. Next item is item number 23. This is to amend the general fund budget for this fiscal year by appropriating $119,921.82 to Park and Rec Highland Park. Funding source is reimbursement received from insurance proceeds.
Move the item.
Second.
Good
Oh,
afternoon.
Jesus.
Good afternoon, my name is Ronald Hicks, I serve as Deputy Director of Birmingham Park and Recreation.
Good afternoon, my name is Charles Brundage, I serve as the Facility Manager here at Park and Recreation.
And the item before you is a reimbursement from insurance company for damages that we suffered at Highland Golf Course on January 17, 2024.
And those damages were?
What happened?
Pipe
What
burst.
happened?
Pipe burst, yes, we have.
Oh, that was the air conditioning that
Yes,
was
air
out
conditioning.
forever
Yes.
and
The
ever,
chiller, the boiler and the cooler line.
and the electrical, and,
Yes.
I got it. I just wanted to know
Okay, that's good. Madam Pro Tem?
what it was.
Do you have any questions? No questions? Okay. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 We're
We
not
have a
sure if
motion?
we had a motion.
Okay,
I think we did.
well, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Yeah,
I thought you
I
did.
thought
Yeah,
you
we
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Counselor Abbott motion,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming
Okay,
that's.
well, that item is passed. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Item number 24, this is a license agreement between the city and High Five Birmingham in the amount of $250 per month for a term of 1 year with the option to renew yearly. All right,
So I bring up Mr. Charlie Williams to speak on this item.
Okay, move the item.
second.
I'm sorry. I thought you already moved it.
it's okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Anything?
I'm Charlie L. Williams Jr., founder of High Five Birmingham. High Five Birmingham was founded with the ambitious, I might say, and honor of reaching out to our young folks in the Birmingham City School System to empower them and inspire them. Our flagship program, the founding program, was rolling out the red carpet at K-8 schools throughout the city of Birmingham. With that, we started going to the schools with our horses, with the equine assisted learning program, whereby we've had veterinarians to go out and talk about veterinarian science and also farrier techniques. But we were missing something, that mental health component. So I partnered with Odyssey K and Associate, and I have Odyssey Langham here with me right now to talk about some of the programs that we do in the Birmingham City School System regarding mental health.
Good afternoon. My name is Odyssey Langham. I am a licensed clinical mental health clinician here in the state of Alabama, and I own Odyssey K and Associates, which is a counseling practice here in Birmingham. We have partnered with High Five Birmingham as well as Birmingham City Schools to provide equine therapy, which is horse-assisted therapy, which is evidence-based practices for working with individuals who have a wide variety of mental health and behavioral concerns. And so we've been working with Birmingham City Schools Camp Wellness and providing equine therapy as a part of that initiative to help students dealing with a wide variety of things such as anxiety, depression, with a major emphasis on trauma. Also working with individuals who have autism and other learning disabilities. And so we've been able to provide these evidence-based practices to these students, and we have seen improvements in both mental health and behavioral concerns from our programs that are evidence-based. No different than you would have cognitive behavioral therapy or trauma-informed care in a clinical setting or in an office setting. We're utilizing the horses to provide the same care. So we're teaching emotion regulation, we're teaching social skills, we're teaching coping skills for managing those various mental health and behavioral challenges with Birmingham City School students.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you very much. Just a couple of questions. So this particular item is where we're approving the rental fee and the cost for the $250. I just noticed that the back doesn't have a funding source or an amount.
No, they will be paying for that.
Okay, perfect. They're gonna be paying for it. We aren't paying for it, okay? That makes sense. And second, just a little more about the program. How does a student opt in? Does the parent select, or does the school help with the selection?
So the criteria is that they do attend a Birmingham City School, and we can receive referrals from various sources. So parents can reach out to us directly, as well as Birmingham City Schools does refer to us directly, as well as they bring students to us for the programming, and we take the horses to the schools as well.
Okay, and we're using our mounted, our horses, or?
No, we don't. So the Birmingham
You got-
Police Department, we have, our mounted patrol is retired. We don't have any more mounted patrols. So this is just an empty building that sits on a crossface land.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, the horses all disappeared while no one was watching.
No.
Councilor Abbott, do you have any
And
questions?
Thank you.
You're approved.
Councilor Abbott, Councilor Abbott, I would like to say that Wall Street is still with us and still a part of the program.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Who is Wall Street?
That was one of the
That's
horses.
one of the horses.
I know, but how, never mind. I was gonna ask how old it was, but don't worry about it. Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Where did our horses go?
I think if you recall, the council actually approved a donation of a couple of the horses when we retired the mounted police. So they were just donated to somebody that had its own stable and able to take care of those type of horses. I cannot remember when it was, but I remember that the council approved a resolution of a donation of our horses.
Well, I would say I must have been absent that day, but I'm never absent. So I'm surprised that I don't remember getting rid of our horses. I just knew I hadn't seen them in about 8 years. So,
Yeah, I think I want to say we retired it probably in 2019 was when we retired it. It was right before the pandemic. I do
Charlie
remember that.
has nice horses, so we can still see them periodically. Anyway, I'm in favor of this. I just was curious what we were up to. And the explanations are never clear, Mr. Chaz.
Okay, well,
You're more than welcome. Whatever now.
glad horses are okay, but, I think, was there a motion? There was a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye, the item has passed. Thank you, guys. Then we have a couple of things for old and new business.
Before we go on, which two, was it 13 and 14 that were withdrawn?
Yes, I believe so, by administration. Yes, 13 and 14.
Yeah, we removed 13 and 14.
I had so many questions.
So we will talk to
We
the
all
council separately about that because we have the item on for the agenda for tomorrow and we're going to ask that be withdrawn also.
So these were the basketball courts that have been committed that the council didn't know anything about?
I wouldn't say that, but these are basketball courts, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the first one is a resolution determining that all of the council districts' quarterly meetings serve a public purpose, and the city of Birmingham funds will be administered to pay for said goods and services for each event in accordance with the general code. I can probably just bring all of them up. Another resolution determining the months of November and December as part of the holiday season, that public activities and events held during this time serve as a public purpose. A resolution declaring that all of the districts keep Birmingham beautiful, beautification activities and events serve a public purpose. A resolution determining that recreation, sports, entertainment, and tourism activities, events serve a public purpose. And then a request seeking a budget ordinance to transfer funds totaling $114,201 from the following offices. Offices 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and Department number 10. For park improvements, neighbor improvements, infrastructure and capital improvement projects, and departmental capital improvements and fleet. Okay. Any questions?
I move approval.
Okay. Any questions for Jeff and Connie? All right. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those items have passed. The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, June 30th at 3:30 p.m. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor?